This week we are starting a new project, a new theme. I'm finished everything with my Winifred cosplay and I am moving on to Haunted Mansion, which will actually be my Halloween costume this year. Parade, they have ballroom dancers who belong to the Haunted Mansion ballroom scene. The ballroom dancers' costumes are really fun in the fact that they're worn and dingy and they have bugs all over them. And so that's what I'm going to try to attempt. I'm going to challenge myself to utterly and completely make it out of things I have in inventory. I do not want to go to the store for this at all. So I was talking to a cast member a couple of years ago, and they let it slip in the conversation that all of these ballroom dancers were prom and wedding dresses from the 80s, that they tweaked and zhuzhed. The 80s does Victorian was huge. I can see how that would be a whole lot easier. I am going to take a actual pattern that I have, which is 80s does Victorian, and I'm going to zhuzh it into looking more like the ballroom dancers here. And I'm going to use whatever fabrics I have on hand. I went through my stash, I pulled out everything that I have in like these really cool, this is leftover from Winnie, the rest of that bolt of organza, and I'm gonna use these greens underneath some of this bridal organza that I have lying about from my full-time theater costuming days and taking up space. And then I also have regular organza, white. So I'm going to make the dress and a waist cincher. I purchased a leotard so I don't have to paint my arms and chest. To get started on this, I am going to take Simplicity's 1200 View A, which is kind of like a shin length. I'm going to use this to redo the bottom of this because I want twirl, and this bottom half of this dress is not going to give me twirl. It's very pretty, but it's not going to give me twirl. And then I'm going to use Simplicity's 8129 as my waist cincher. I'm going to make it a little skinnier. I hope I can, because I don't need this to be a full underbust waist cincher. I just want it to be more like a cummerbund style. So I'm gonna make it a little skinnier. The really cool thing is that if you want to make this on your own, you don't have to use the exact same pattern that I'm using. In looking at how many different parade dancers there are, there's so many options. Like, no two dancer is identical, so you could, in theory, do something completely different for me, but using the same idea, you know. Make it your own. Okay, let's tackle 80s does Victorian for a dead ballroom dancer. To make my cummerbund, I took the pattern pieces from the corset and cut them all out in scrap fabric and essentially made a mock-up. And then trimmed it down to the size that I wanted, and then disassembled the mock-up using the mock-up pieces as my new pattern pieces to cut it out of my green velvet. So I have this green velvet, which it's real velvet. I've had it for a long time. I have 2 yards of it, and I really didn't want to have to cut it open. It's in the same color family as this organza that I pulled to do a skirt layer. I'm hoping that all of these greens under the white will read as more of like a ghostly cast. But I was having a lot of apprehensive feelings cutting up this real green velvet for a Halloween costume. And in messing with it, I realized that there was a piece of scrap in there in addition to the 2 yards. So this is actually enough to make my cummerbund waist cincher thing. So looking at this, I think at some point I tried making a waist cincher out of this. There's already like some stitching in there and like a little, I don't know what like 10-year-old me was thinking, but I'm not complaining because shut it fits. Like, it legit fits. For my many skirt layers, I cut out 3 of the skirt pieces for skirt view A for each layer. So 2 layers of my embroidered organza, 3 layers of my plain white organza, and 1 layer of my mint green layer. No, 2 layers of mint green. I'm actually really nervous about this. To make the bottom ruffle along the dress, I'm going to take the bottom 10 inches of this organza that I use to make the skirt itself. So that way, like, all of this fabric is been in my stash for years. So this way, it's not gonna go to waste. It's gonna take me a while to cut it because I don't want to just go through it with the rotary blade. I know that these are not perfectly lined up. But this is about 14 yards worth of length of fabric.
Like, yeah.
We'll be back. Different idea that I like better. I'm actually going to cut all the way up on this. I might shorten the circle skirt a couple of inches, but I think it'll look better. This is going to take a while. Okay, the easiest way to strip organza. It's actually really easy when you know how to work with it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little knit right there at the 12-inch and tear it. And it will tear straight. Okay, and I'm going to do that 800 million times. That was graceful. Good morning. It is day 2. And in my world, it's a 2-cup a day. I have almost all of today is going to be putting the many layers of skirts together. And that's gonna be a lot of straight stitches, a lot of gathering. So there's not much to see. I'll check in periodically with you guys. Yeah, it's a gray, rainy day here in Central Florida, which makes it feel like fall. And then you go outside and it's 90 degrees and 98% humidity. For my bodice pieces, I'm going to sew my fabric and then my organza all together. Like, I'm going to tap stitch around the edges so that way I can treat it as then one individual piece and then move forward. I'm going to do that for all of my top pieces. For the ruffle along the neckline, I am going to use some of this lace. It's part of my bridal satin, bridal organza stuff that I have in inventory. I'll ruffle it and then sandwich it into the neckline of the dress. Okay, we're getting there. I really wish I had more of the stuff that I put on the bottom of the skirt, but I don't. It's close enough. It's close enough. I mean, these lilies are all I have left. So I don't have enough to... I don't have enough. So I'll use the daisies. It is what it is. So after cutting all the lace off, I decided I wanted to do a double layer. So since I cut the lace kind of in between, I went back, trimmed it down so that these are flappy. And then I'm going to attach it there and I'm going to sew them together as one piece. I have gotten the bodice assembled and I'm kind of not in love with it because I don't like the way this ruffle keeps popping up. It's making me a little sad and a little clownish. I think I might cut it off after all that. Yeah, it's feeling a little clown-ish and less Victorian, 80s does Victorian. Like it keeps popping up. Yeah. Whereas if I ditch this layer, yeah, that I like. Okay, so I'm ditching this top layer of lace after all. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. I like the fact that the green is casting a glow. That's exactly what I wanted. You know, she's your poofy. And then that's all the skirts. That's all the skirts. Hi, hello. These are my skirts for my dress. What are you doing? Move off of them, please. Bye. This is a lot of ruffles. Hi guys, it's day 4. My goal today is to attach the bodice to skirts, get the zipper in, and make the waist cincher. And then I sat on it last night. I really decided I don't like the double layer of ruffles on the bodice, so I'm gonna remove them. And I think I'm gonna leave it raw. Like, I think I'm gonna leave the edges raw because that will act as, you know, it'll look like some, like, you know, graveyard decay. I think. I hope. That's my plan, at least. And then once it's fully assembled, I am going to make it look dirty and buggy. But that's another day. I think that's tomorrow. Hopefully I get everything done today, that I can make it look dead tomorrow. So I'm gonna get to it. Okay, I'll see you later. So many layers. It is a new day. While I was able to make my entire ball gown out of everything I had in all of the supplies I had in inventory, I was not as lucky with the tuxedo for my dance partner. I am, however, using a pattern out of my own inventory. It's McCall's 7003. I'm using a shirt out of his closet. A bow tie that I got from Goodwill for about $1 and about 12 years ago. Maybe 10. So thrift stores are always a great option for any of this. So I went to the craft store. I got 7 yards of white stretch suiting, which is absolutely my favorite suiting fabric to work with. It is smooth and I did buy a pack of 1-inch coat shoulder pads, and it's going to be a straightforward assembly. So again, just like with my dress, I will boop you guys all through that, and then we'll get straight to, as quick as possible, gunging it up. Yay! Gunging it up. Graveyarding it up. Bugging it up. Making it gross. different shades of dirt and grass stains on both the dress and the tux. I mixed together 2 different shades of brown. The lighter of the 2 was called Campfire Ashes. The darker of the 2 was called Vintage Luggage. And then my grass stains were created with a color called Green Hay. And I just put them into my spray bottle and went to town. I focused on places that if you were crawling around in a graveyard to climb your way out of your grave, your knees would get dirty, your elbows would get dirty, your lapel would get dirty. So those are the places that I kind of focused on. The hem of the dress from walking around in dirt, the knees and elbows of the suit. Those are the places that I kind of tried to focus on. And then for the piece de resistance, the final addition to the costumes, we're adding bugs. I had those little wormy serpents left over from attempting to make my serpent clutch, my serpent buckles for Winnie. I also grabbed spiders and other little graveyard bugs. Dollar Tree often has them. I got mine from the dollar bins at Walmart because that's what I was able to get this year. I didn't necessarily want them to be permanent, so gluing pin backs to some of the bugs and then just putting them on as pins also worked really well for my dress, because I was afraid with my dress that anything with glue would melt the organza or rip the organza a little easier. All right, that being said, guys, I will see you in the reveal. Hey! Wrong direction.
Sit.
Oh, you pretty girl. Hot! Hot! Okay, I'm starting with the pants because I don't care. Jesus!
Get good bottles next time.
Get better bottles than the dollar ones at Walmart. This is a lot of skirts. Wait. Come here. Abby, come here. Sit. Evers. Sit. Sit. Good job. Good job. May I like over footage than under footage?
Yes. We're gonna go do some spins once she's done potting. So at this point the house is in the background.